just like go live. I don't even know why I have the headphones because I don't need anything. All right. What's up? I'm Brandon.
Dennis.
This is Dennis. We are just two dudes. Had an idea to do a talk show, like a year ago. We've done like 3 since then.
But those are 3 of the best shows that you've ever seen in your life.
Probably 99.9% sure that's a true statement. But yeah, this is a talk show literally about nothing and yet everything. We'll cover stuff like fantasy football, movies, entertainment stuff, video games. Dennis doesn't do any social media stuff, so he's pretty much clueless there. Yet, he still is on top of the meme game like no other. I don't know how he does it. So, but we're going to dive in today talking a little bit about fantasy football. So, if you guys are any fans of fantasy football out there, this will be your jam for the next little bit here. I'm actually surprisingly doing pretty solid this year. I'm only got 1 league though, but you have what, like
3 leagues. 3 leagues this year. 2 of them are money leagues, and one of them is our work league that about half of us take very seriously, and the other half are scrubs.
I think the other half like auto draft.
Yeah, once you auto draft, you've given that season up. Just stop it.
And then I think they didn't even change one of their players for the bye week.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
So
That's
I think
upsetting. The
tough thing with work leagues is you got people who are like, oh, they want to be involved in it, but then again, you still can't really talk. Well, with our department, it's a little bit different. We can kind of say pretty much whatever, but usually you can't really talk trash in a work league and be like, yeah, suck my shaved balls and all this other stuff. You can kind of say that in our league here. No one will really flip out. But I think that's the other thing that's a drawback to like the work leagues. But it's the only one I'm in this year, trying to get my feet wet back with it again.
I feel like a few of the people that joined, they just wanted to be a part of something, or we wanted somebody and asked them. I know there was one guy who he's never done it, super excited about it, and I don't know if any of you have ever played fantasy football or anything, but I don't care how much of a football fan you are, how much you know about the NFL, it's not the same thing as fantasy football. Names get you absolutely nothing. A perfect example is Julio Jones. Julio Jones, I mean, every single, he's on SportsCenter every Monday, he's 100 yards a game, every game and everything. Fantasy football, though, he's mid-tier because he has the same amount of touchdowns as I do this year. So that's...
Someone would even venture Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah. Usually he's pretty good, but yeah, for all the talk that he gets. Meanwhile, Saquon Barkley, I've got him in 2 of my leagues, and yeah, two thumbs up for the rookie.
Well, my overall draft pick went this year, right?
Yeah, you were the unfortunate Le'Veon Bell pick this year, weren't you? I think everybody who picked number 2 in like 90% of fantasy football leagues got stuck with Le'Veon Bell, which is...
It's a miracle I've only lost 2 games. I'm 4-2, so I'm not too upset. I've been able to survive, partly, and that's even with having like Deshaun Jackson and Kenny Stills have their games like go off. They had like 50 points on the bench that first week. I was like, oh.
You can't get mad about that though, because I mean Kenny Stills, well, it's a lucky thing for him to do all that.
So out of the first the rookie quarterbacks situation, there's some dynamics that are kind of happening this week that I think are kind of huge. So like Carlos Hyde, first of all, being traded to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That was big. And for me, I went ahead and picked up Nick Chubb because now he goes from a number 3 running back to a number 2.
Yeah.
And then Carlos Hyde, with the situation with Fournette being out, has, I think, more potential in that kind of offense because I think the Browns need a running back who is an ability to check down, and Carlos Hyde is not a good pass running back. He's not like a good passing running back. And I know that as a Niner fan. Like we've had him, and we didn't give him that. We didn't keep him for that reason. But yeah, I don't even want to talk about football anymore because of the Niners. I'm getting pissy about this, but whatever.
He's not a good number one, but he's a good third down back. He's a good downhill runner, but that's it. You know, he's not gonna catch a screen pass. He's not. It's not gonna happen. That's not his thing. What upsets me about the whole thing with Carlos Hyde is I've been banking with TJ Yeldon this whole time that Fournette's been out. I was able to go over there and snag him.
Yeah.
Same thing with James Conner. I've got him. So, you know, I'm not rooting for these people to just stay hurt or do whatever it is that Le'Veon Bell's doing, but it's helping me.
Has Bell even showed up? He said he's going to show up for week 7.
Bye week, and he did not. So now he's saying that he's going to show up for the following week.
Well, it's kind of stupid of him not to show up this week because he'll still get paid.
Right, you get paid for the bye week if you show up. So he just forfeited.
Just showed up that because he's already given up 6 point something million. And he has the ability to sign, if he signed during the bye week, around $9 million. So I'd imagine it's down to probably roughly around like 8 and some change, maybe, or something like that. I don't know how it broke down per game, but I mean,
well, here's why I think he most definitely was going to and was talking about coming back for the bye week, and then what's his name? Who just got hurt that was trying to hold out?
Thomas from Seattle.
Yeah.
Is it Earl Thomas?
Yeah, Earl Thomas. Exactly. Yeah, Earl Thomas.
Texas boy.
Sure is.
UT. Goes around Texas. Weird, right? Cowboy fan or Bears fan and a Niner fan in Texas. What the hell's going on here? So yeah, that sucks, dude. I love though the fact that he like leaving this field. He's just like,
yeah, he just
F y'all, just the bird, dude, and he like no qualms either, saying he's like, who was the bird for? Was it towards the player that hurt? He's like, no man, it's towards this organization. It's like I didn't want to be there, and then like I even loved it. Like he was like, dude, Cowboys get me, and he's like, come at me, and he picks two balls off against them, and then he's pretty much like takes a bow to their sidelines.
That was
he could have had me.
He was supposed to go there, and then Seattle didn't want to trade him to the team before they played him.
Yeah.
So they were going to keep him. Then he gets hurt, so now of course nobody wants to trade for him. And meanwhile, Le'Veon Bell is over there like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So now he feels even more justified. And now he's like a heel wrestler or something like that, where he's, I'll be the bad guy for everybody. I don't care. And, you almost feel for him. Like, I get it, man. You know what I mean? Like, they want to give him this 1-year franchise deal, which, he makes a ton of money. And, don't forget that part. But a ton of money this 1 year versus an overall bigger contract, that's that.
Yeah. NFL stands for not for long. And just like our conversation about the NFL talk right now is not for long. The injury, though, brought me up to a thing because you're a big wrestling fan, and I want to touch base on the girl wrestler who freaking blew up her knee.
I thought you were talking about Mandy Rose getting knocked out by Brie Bella.
No, freaking, what's her name? And she's like, has the gumption to apologize to Triple H, who's like the COO of like WWE now. And like she's sitting there, she still finished the match. So her first thing she blew out, I think she blew out her Achilles or something like that. Then she tore like ACL and something else. And then, dislocated her knee. It popped back in place. And then she tore ACL and something else.
Did this happen on NXT? Because I missed this entirely. Or was it? Yeah, or is this during like the Mae Young Classic or something?
It was during some. It was a two.
Because it couldn't have been during like Raw or SmackDown or like a pay-per-view, because I don't miss those. Or if I do, you know what I mean, I'm up to date on the thing. But that's
This is why we cover topics before you. I didn't cover this with him at first, so I apologize. This was. Oh gosh, who was it? Well, you got what's his name coming back too for a match?
Shawn Michaels, who, you know, right before his last match, you know, towards the end of his career in like 2008, I believe it was, got hit in the head and basically made his eye like into a googly eye for forever. So like when you look at Shawn Michaels now, he's got a googly eye.
It's a little different to look at now.
Yeah, it's kind of goofy, and you know, so he's coming back. Although the match, I mean, unless you're of a certain age, I don't see why anybody would want to see this match. I am of that age, so I'm super excited about Shawn Michaels and Triple H coming back as D-Generation X versus The Undertaker and Kane. However, all of them are basically in their 50s.
Is it like past their prime type thing, or is this going to be like... When is it going to get to the point where they start wheeling out these geriatric motherfuckers to wrestle? I'm not saying that these guys are pretty fit now. Like, I'm not... Triple H looks...
Triple H is stacked. Yeah. So is...
Shawn Michaels.
So is HBK. Yeah, he's ripped still. Kane and The Undertaker... I mean, that was never either one of their things, but... Ooh.
Yeah, it was Mae Young.
Oh, was that the Mae Young Classic? Okay, so those are all indie wrestlers and regional wrestlers, and they're in a competition, like a ladder kind of competition, to try to get a spot on NXT. So it's...
How do you compete for a spot if it's fixed? I guess are the results so like for that, or how do they just kind of base it on your performance and who sells it more?
Yeah, who gets over.
Okay.
Basically. So, you know, if you've got this match going on and, you know, 80% of the time and 80% of the people are going for one person and the other person's not getting anything either way, like any kind of a reaction, then they're going to call it for that person. I don't know if they call it during the match, they call it beforehand. I don't know, you know, when they're determined. But yeah, no doubt they're definitely predetermined.
Yeah.
You're not going to just have... real, it's not a shoot match. It's not UFC
so
or
I was
anything.
misinformed a little bit, but I mean, at least I knew of that thing, and the only reason I knew about it was because like a Twitter story, and so I found out through that. And like why would they like, oh, Triple H consults this girl, and like, oh, dude, what do you expect him to be like? Sorry, bro, you're done. Like, see ya. Like, meat wagon, give me the next person.
Yeah,
it was a very touching video. If you know, for the sense, like she's sitting there apologizing while her knee's pretty much blown up, is what she said, and he's just like, dude, she's apologizing. It's like, you have nothing to apologize for. Like, it happens, and so the fact that happened and she still somewhat finished the match is
that does happen. I mean, Brock Lesnar did it with a broken neck.
Yeah.
You know, so it definitely does happen. Kurt Angle broke his neck and won a gold medal in the Olympics.
True.
96. That's old. You know what I mean? So like, it does happen. It's rough. Vince McMahon blew out both of his quads one time. Just like one.
Also blew out
after the other, and then still like just finished the promo that he was gonna go out there and do, like sitting down on the mat. It was...
Little side note, this is just a side question. We have a buddy, Will, that we work with that does fantasy everything. Do you think he would make us join an XFL fantasy league?
I keep forgetting that that's going to be a thing.
I draft, he hate me first. Number one.
I mean, yeah, I don't know who they're going to get or what they're going to do.
I don't think you would be a criminal for stealing your neighbor's cat. Because, I mean, you could still visit it, but that's random.
How did you steal it? Like, did you go over there, like, decked out, like, with a mask on and all black and go over there and snatch him up? Or did you just, like, put some food on the porch and now he's yours? Because that's definitely different.
Yeah, we work in a department, we need no more context on that. We won't bust you for that. Plus, it's a cat. Can anyone really steal a cat? The cat's still going to be
like... It just does what it does.
I'm an individual mother effer. Like, I still do my own shish. I mean, I think you could pretty much steal someone's cat if you left food out on the porch and the cat comes over. Is that technically stealing it? In a cat's eye, maybe.
I mean, you stole his heart.
Freaking cats.
Take better care of your cat.
I know we're breezing through some of this stuff here, so I don't know if you said you didn't watch any of this stuff, but I was as a Marvel fan, I was like, okay, well, when are they gonna start crossing over some of this other stuff? Like they brought over the Defenders, which was a great series, on Netflix with the Marvel characters. Daredevil was like the very first one to come out. I think Jessica Jones was the second one, and then Luke Cage, and then Iron Fist. Well, they just announced that they're canceling Iron Fist, so there's no season 3 for that. Not a surprise. Luke Cage, I was a little bit surprised for, which makes me nervous for Jessica Jones, because I actually kind of like that series. Daredevil is in the middle of season 3, so if you haven't watched it yet, it's actually pretty good. I enjoy watching those ones.
What about Punisher? Is that still a thing?
Punisher is still, I think, in the second. They haven't announced that one yet either. But this is my theory on it, and you can probably say whatever you want about it, but Disney announced that they're going to be having their own streaming service, so fan-freaking-tastic. Now we're going to play even more money for Disney shish. Because, I mean, if you think about it, we all borrow someone's Netflix or Hulu or something.
Yeah, it's not a question of if. It's
Which
happening.
one are you borrowing?
Somebody's paying
Somebody's
for it.
paying for one of them, and then you're using someone else's. So I feel sorry for the person who I'm going to borrow their Disney. But with Marvel having, or with the Disney having such a huge foothold on some of the Marvel characters, is it something that you revive and announce pretty quickly to kind of get the buzz going for that new streaming service? Or do you think this is just, like, because you haven't watched the shows, but...
No, I haven't watched any of the shows. I've definitely, I religiously watched the movies. I've got 2 kids and all that stuff, so it's hard for me to go to the movies. Those movies are ones that I make an effort to, we'll get a babysitter. We're going to go there opening night, whatever that Thursday night is at like 10 p.m. or whatever, and we'll go see those movies. So I'm very up to date and with it as far as the movies go, but never really messed with the shows. They just seem like it was getting into too much. Same reason I don't play fantasy baseball, like kind of to loop back to that. Yeah. It just seems like it's just too much. It's too involved. There's too many things going on, and I made the decision with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That was like the first spin-off TV show. Yeah. Not on Netflix, so that was on network TV. I think it turned into a Netflix show or something, didn't it? Or did it just end up there afterwards?
Is it Hulu still running it? Or I don't know. Feel like I haven't even watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, it was on ABC. I've got a buddy who's super into all the shows, and he kind of tells me about all these different things. I'm like, oh, this thing's coming out. Like, I can't wait. And are you going to watch it? And I'm like, dude, like I've told you this for the last 4 shows. Like, I haven't watched any of them. I'm not going to just start up with season 3 of Daredevil. Like, that's not where I'm going to start. If I do. Where
Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. lost me is because they're putting around the agent who kind of helped bring the Avengers together. But they killed him.
Didn't they? Yeah, they brought him back in the show.
They brought him back in the show as like an android or something like that, and I was like, "F this, I'm done." I'm done. And then who was the Captain America's love or something like that? His love interest.
Oh yeah.
They brought her a show, which to their
agent something.
Yeah, another agent something. Gosh dang it! I was gonna say
some number.
Jones.
Agent 13 or something. No?
Well, I'll look it up in a second.
Whatever.
But they did bring the same girl who was playing the actress that played that one.
Yeah, and that's a good segue because I was gonna bring this up, that Marvel, not only are they doing better with their movies than DC is, but like the way that DC, they have their shows and they have their movies and they have the same characters in both of them sometimes, but they're 2 different actors. So they're 2 totally different universes, and it's the same thing going on with DC Comics. You know what I mean? There's too many things going on.
Yeah. You had Smallville, which was doing fantastic on CW, which CW is like the DC network, basically. Because they have Arrow, Flash, and you got Legends or something like that, which is another spinoff of some of the other B-list character-ish. Not really B-list, but sorry if you're a fan of those. I'm not trying to offend anyone who's
Titans.
a fan of
Didn't
Titans.
that just come out?
Teen Titans.
No, regular Titans.
Well, they have Teen Titans, the cartoon.
Yeah, Teen Titans Go.
Teen Titans Go, but then there's a Titans that actually where like Robin basically kind of calls Batman a bitch. Everyone's
Really?
like, they lost their shit in the trailer for it. They're like, what? And so yeah, you have to watch that.
I guess, but at the end of the day, he's still Robin. You know what I mean? Like
They had to replace him with Nightwing just to make sure they
You
give him a
can't-
little bit more of a beefier name or something. But
just you're never gonna.
Nightingale.
It's always Batman and Robin. You know what I
True.
mean? It's never. No.
Mr. Freeze and his wife.
Oh, that was a regrettable movie.
But at the same time, you had Tom Welling, who was a pretty good Clark Kent. Didn't really call him Superman because he had a no tights, no flight rule. I don't know if you knew about this, but he
In what?
in the Smallville show. So he basically said, I mean, look, I'm obviously a fan. They're right there. So, he signed a no tights, no flight rule because he didn't want to end up like all the other stereotypical Supermans, like in Hollywood, like Dean Cain, who hasn't been able to get any other role than.
That's not why, though.
I know it's not. But yeah, so like he didn't want to do that, so that's why whenever he flew or jumped really high, it was as Kal-El, and he was on red kryptonite, so it wasn't really Superman
So
or
it was-
Clark.
Hopped up on the juice,
He's hopped up on kryptonite. He's on Superman steroids.
smoking them moon rocks.
And so that's why they allowed him, or that was their loophole to kind of get into that realm of stuff. At the same time that series was going on, that's when they did the Superman Returns with Brandon Routh
Yeah, Kevin Spacey as
as Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor. Yeah.
Which I thought was a pretty good Lex Luthor. The Superman kind of turned into a little emo, whiny Superman. What the hell is going on?
I don't remember the movie. I remember vaguely the plot was something about like beachfront property in the middle of like there's gonna melt glaciers or something, right?
Yeah.
To make beachfront property or something.
So he ends up.
And I remember Kevin Spacey being good.
It turns into this point where Superman kind of does this thing that probably wouldn't have been able to happen. Would it be his silent game if you talk about nothing? Probably.
Unless we're actually talking about nothing, like the nothingness of space or something. It'd be a meta conversation.
So he premises he brings this like giant rock that's infused with kryptonite to create new real estate thing or something like that. So it was like taking advantage of the real estate boom back then in like 2000 something.
Right before 2008.
Needed to get some more property. So he ends up lifting this rock that's the giant crater of new planet, and it's laced with kryptonite. So how is he supposed to fly and carry that if it's going to kill him? And so he ends up lifting that, throwing that in space, and that's pretty much all I remember from the movie. And then the CGI part where he just doesn't blink and a bullet hits his eye and shatters. So that was another thing he kind of did.
Now, see, I don't remember it, but the fact that it's not that memorable to me makes it better. Because, like, Superman 4, I remember Superman 4, like, super well.
Yeah.
And not for anything good.
True.
Do you remember Superman 4?
I don't. I'd have
So,
to go back and... This
yeah.
is the Christopher Reeves ones, right?
Yeah, it was the last Christopher Reeves movie. So the movie opens up with him rounding up all the nukes. Like, all the nukes from the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
And he throws them into a big, like, cargo net, which, I guess, whatever, man. And then flies them all into space and throws them away. So now there's no more nukes. So then Lex Luthor...
That's why he just threw the planet in space. That's just...
that's his answer
When
for
are we
everything.
going to start getting on Superman about his pollution and being eco-friendly in space?
Didn't
Space
care,
is
man.
not a dumping ground.
Yes, it is. In the Superman universe, it sure is.
And especially if you look at WALL-E, that's the trick to global warming. We just need to throw all the bad stuff into space.
Into space, just launch it at the sun.
Think about that with politics too. All the bad stuff. In space. Get the guns, throw them in space. Then the aliens get it, and then they shoot us. Then we don't want no guns. What? No.
Well, that's the whole thing. Nobody can protect anything now because there's no nukes, apparently. So Lex Luthor makes a Superman.
Yeah.
All right, and Radiation Man, Radioactive Man. That's Simpsons, not, but it's basically Radioactive Man from The Simpsons. And then he fights Superman, but like they're on an even keel, except for because he's 100% powered by the sun, which I thought Superman was too.
Yeah.
They just forget that nugget of knowledge for this movie entirely. Because literally, if you put the super bad guy who's like, he's met his match finally, if you put him in a dark closet, he's done.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's like you ever had a bird and you put the sheet over the bird cage and he just shuts down and goes to sleep? That's what this bad guy does. Like you close the blinds and he's nothing anymore. And they fight and it's so bad. It's so bad. It's so much the worst Superman movie ever. And that's including the one starring Richard Pryor alongside of him, where the front cover of the movie, he's like carrying Richard Pryor like a freaking baby through the air. You know what I mean? Like
they're trying to help with civil rights movements back in that day.
In the 80s? Wasn't that bad, man?
I know.
No, it's Superman 4. It's Superman 3 sucks. There's only one scene in there that I remember that's so bad that it's good and worth watching, and that's when Superman loses his powers and gets drunk.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty entertaining.
All I can think of with the Christopher Reeves one is him running so fast where he changes time.
Oh, where he flies around the world
and goes back.
It rotates the other way.
And that makes it go
That's
back
I believe that's the first one. How the first one ends. Yeah.
And then,
which is fine. It was like 1978. It's okay to be campy. You know what I mean? Like the superhero movie that you had before that was
Zod.
The Adam West.
Which one was Zod?
Zod was the second one.
Okay. And then Zod was like this fashionista from another planet. It's like, I'm Zod.
Kneel before Zod. Yeah, no, that was good.
Kneel before me, yeah.
That
Even though he's not Swedish. So the rebooting movies leads to that, which there's some reboots that I've been pretty thoroughly happy with. You said one earlier, True Grit, which was pretty good.
Right. Now, with the caveat, I don't know if anybody is a huge John Wayne fan, but if you're a John Wayne fan, I've heard anybody that I've known that's a John Wayne fan has just they've hated True Grit and they think it was the worst thing that's ever happened in the history of cinema, which that's a lot. But I thought it was good just because I hadn't really ever seen the other one. I never watched John Wayne movies. I'm not a big Western fan type person. The only two Western movies I can think of really, three, is that one, True Grit, the one that Tarantino just did, and Blazing Saddles.
I thought you were going to say Wild Wild West with Will Smith.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I've actually seen it recently. It was on like Stars or Showtime or something.
Wild Wild West.
We're
due for another Will Smith movie / music, which I think we're about to get with Aladdin.
Oh, I was just about to say, he's the genie.
With Aladdin, so he's going to be the genie. I was nervous about that remake at first.
What do you mean at first? You're good now? What did you see? I want to see what you saw to make it okay.
Until I heard it was Will Smith being the genie. Like, Will Smith is a legendary, iconic actor in his own right. Let alone the music side of it that can bring at least a different flavor to that realm of things. I mean, if you think about it, dude, like, freaking Robin Williams nailed that. It's like, if anyone thinks of Robin Williams, they either think of Aladdin or they think of 48 Hour Photo. I'm just kidding.
I was like, I would have gone with Hook, but
Patch
sure,
Adams,
that's right there, yeah.
Patch Adams, another one of his, I don't know. Flubber. I always go to Flubber. That's his go-to.
Hook, man, it's Peter Pan.
I know. Hook is one of my favorites.
That's a great movie. But, so Will Smith made you better with the movie.
Yeah.
See, to me, took it down a notch. And not that I don't like Will Smith. I absolutely love Will Smith in most of the stuff that he's in. Even if it's a movie that's terrible and he's in it, it's usually better for it. He wasn't the reason that movie was okay. There's that DC movie, that Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
He was okay in it, but
He hasn't. So this is the thing. Though. Will Smith pre Pursuit of Happiness was all the same. Men in Black, Wild Wild West. It was cookie cutter Will Smith. After Pursuit of Happiness, he even said it himself in an interview. He said that's where I kind of got it. It was like a different realm for him. I mean, he even played Ali, and I think that was before Pursuit of Happiness as well.
he nailed it in that movie.
And Ali,
Yeah.
yeah. So he's, I don't know. I think people, if they're like me and they're like, oh, it's just, I don't know. I was a huge fan of Rob Williams, so for me, I was like, oh, I don't know. So we'll see. But I'm a little bit skeptical still, somewhat, just because I don't know how that movie would play out. And then there was like the teaser that they released during, I think, like one of the Thursday night games or something like that.
Yeah.
And they showed some of it a little bit more. And I'm getting a little excited. I mean, having kids, though, it's like another reason to go see it. But I think it would have been a movie I would still go see on my own, even without kids.
I have not seen any of the live action remakes yet.
I was joking though. I said, dude, okay, Beauty and the Beast was okay.
The kids were watching that today. I saw like 10 minutes of it, and I was just, this is trash.
Was Hermione singing in a yellow dress? What
Yeah.
the hell, Hermione? You trading on me?
The little
The candelabra?
Yeah, that thing was creepy.
Yeah.
The clock was, there's just too much going on.
So, because they remade Cinderella way before that.
Yeah.
And then
they redid Sleeping Beauty too.
That's right.
Hard pass on both of them.
Was it Maleficent?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess Maleficent was a little bit different though.
100 in the Woods or something, wasn't it?
Well, the Maleficent was more of a view from the other witch side.
I thought they did something
From
something
Maleficent,
about the woods or
Maleficent.
something.
Kind
Sleeping
of like
Beauty.
that.
Either way,
It was
I
a
passed
different
on all
spin
of
it.
them.
That one wasn't too bad. Angelina Jolie was creepy as hell in it, but then again, she's kind of creepy, as it is. Another remake though, like going on to some of the other ones that I kind of like too, is Magnificent Seven, another John Wayne remake,
mm-hmm.
which you said you haven't seen, but Vincent D'Onofrio, which is what we were supposed to segue from that, he was in Daredevil, which he just, I don't know, he just views him as only as Gomer Pyle, and I don't know, I think that's the thing that makes sometimes when you have certain actors in these remakes, after my tangent here, but the last part of it was I was like, when is it gonna stop with these remakes? Because it's gonna get kind of creepy if they do a real life version of Little Mermaid, aka Splash.
It's in the works.
It is?
Yes. Dumbo's about to come out too.
Dumbo.
The movie was an hour.
Dumbo.
The movie's a 62-minute runtime.
Sure.
I'm sure they're going to expand on it, but it's... And I'm...
It caught everyone in the feels though because of the production of the song. The song that the baby like singing the
Whatever, Sure. I'm just not about these live action remakes of these
Dennis doesn't have a heart.
cartoons. I want to say they're supposed to be doing Lion King too.
Lion King was gonna be interesting, and people are mad about that one because. But I go look, but they nailed Jungle Book. Jungle Book was pretty good.
I have seen a live action remake because I have seen Jungle Book.
Yeah.
And it wasn't terrible. You know, it wasn't something that I watched and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna rewatch that.
That King Louis scene was creepy though, because like the orangutan was huge.
He wasn't an orangutan.
I thought he was an orangutan.
He was in the original one. Now he's an Australopithecus.
No.
Ooh, I can't believe I nailed that word on the first try. Look at me go.
Oh, freaking A.
Yeah, because they were trying to do it because he's so big or something. They were trying to make it more realistic or something like that.
So because
I don't know.
Yeah, because of the how good
one bad.
Jungle Book was, I feel like Lion King would be okay. I don't think it would be too bad.
That's,
but then again, we've already seen a live action of Lion King.
well, that's on a stage. That's different.
It's called Black Panther.
Oh God.
I went there.
Well, I mean, and to Lion King was a remake of it's that Shakespeare story, Hamlet.
It was?
Yeah. Yeah.
Disney's stealing all these
Lion
ideas.
King is.
Disney can't come up with their own.
Dude, what the
shit.
Rescuers Down Under is like the last one they did. 101 Dalmatians or something, maybe. I don't know.
They did do that one.
And they did that one live too, but I didn't watch that one either. I've skated by on most of these Disney movies. Like I said, I've got 2 kids and they're fairly young. I skated by on most of the live action ones because they like to watch the animated stuff. And it doesn't necessarily have to be kid animated stuff because they both think The Simpsons is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
I can usually shut both of them up if I just put on like FXX, which almost always has The Simpsons on. For some reason, like it's the Simpsons channel.
That's true.
They'll watch Rick and Morty, which probably isn't a great idea, but they do watch it. I don't think that 90% of it goes over their head, but when he burps, it's funny to them. So there's that. But yeah, I think it's just the animated part that they really like.
It's a comfort thing.
Yeah, because my daughter is 4. She absolutely loves Sleeping Beauty. Or not Sleeping Beauty, what were we just talking about? Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
She loves that movie. She'll watch it. As soon as it's over, she wants to watch it again. Today, like I said, that movie was on while I was doing other stuff. And, the wife was sitting there watching it. And little girl's bouncing all over the place. She couldn't care less about that movie that it was on. When they're singing a song that she likes, she'll go listen to the song and watch that part. But other than that, she doesn't. It's not a big deal for her. So I don't know. But yeah, as far as I know, they're redoing every one of the Renaissance era Disney movies as live action. And they say live action. I mean, it's still like 90% CGI, though, isn't it?
True.
I don't think there was an actual beast, at least in the parts that I saw. There was not a dude in a costume.
No.
He was photoshopped.
The other thing that made people mad about it too is they made Gaston gay, or not Gaston. Was it LeFou?
LeFou.
Yeah.
You talk about the snowman guy?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
guy who plays Olaf.
Yeah.
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 They made him gay.
I didn't catch that. But yeah, when you say it, that totally makes sense. Because I did see that part where they were singing that song that no one does this like Gaston and that like Gaston. And he was... Yeah, he definitely played for the other team on that one. I did not catch that.
Well, it wasn't so much that. It was the... there's a scene at the very end where he's like dancing with a guy. And one of the...
Oh, I missed that.
One of the... It was one of this fight scene at the end. And the clock... I forget who it was. But they basically said, you're upset because you like dudes or something like that. And then all of a sudden it shows him dancing with LeFou at the end, like, in the happy...
They made a gay joke?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that entirely.
I thought it was something like where he likes to wear women's clothes or something like that. Or it was something where they told one of the guys, like, Disney's pushing the limits, man. You're going to make my kids... I'm just kidding. That's not going to make my kid gay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't... It's whatever. I don't care if he is in that movie or not. But, like,
but
it's not plot changing.
No, and people are so
like, if you made Aladdin gay or something, like, that's going to change the movie a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, Princess Jasmine...
It's Prince Jazz.
It's Prince Jazz.
It's Prince Jazz. They get Jazzy Jeff to play it.
And then Will Smith. He's already
You got Will Smith already in it. You got Princess Jazzy Jeff. He goes over to Prince Aladdin's place and gets thrown out by Uncle Will. Ah!
He's the Sultan. Oh, that's pretty good.
I'm going to hell. Then if you have...
The movie wrote itself.
I just can't get Rick. I don't know. I love Will Smith, man. Sitcoms.
Yeah, no, like I said, Will Smith, he's great. I mean, there's certain movies that even he couldn't do anything about, even though it was his entire movie. I'm talking about that After Earth movie with him and his kid, where he like wrote it, directed it, starred in it,
Well,
got his kid to star in it, and all that
he's in
stuff.
Scientology though.
That movie was.
Did you know that?
Will Smith is
Yeah.
one of those Scientology guys.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
It kind of changed my view a little bit of him, but I'm like, whatever.
See, I don't care necessarily because like that doesn't change anything about Tom Cruise. I haven't watched a terrible Tom Cruise movie, minus The Mummy, that was unwatchable. I didn't even finish that. You know what I mean? Like, but Tom Cruise movies, I watch just about anything.
Okay, well, maybe Jada Pinkett says she's not.
So
There's a connection with them, is what they're saying. This was back in 2013. Will Smith defends Tom Cruise in his Scientology beliefs. That was in April.
well, I just did that just now. Does that mean I'm a Scientologist?
Yes.
Like, I literally just did that with the same dude. You believe whatever you want,
I
man.
don't know.
He's not knocking at my door like, hey, Dennis's kids, believe this. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you're not doing that, I don't care what you believe. You know what I mean? You do whatever you want, man. Knock yourself out. It doesn't bother me in any way. It doesn't make, what is that? That Die Repeat not Day After Tomorrow. That was a terrible Roland Emmerich film, but
I know what you're talking about. The Edge of Tomorrow.
where he just keeps on dying. That movie was fantastic. Completely didn't see that coming. Oblivion was good, not quite as good as that one, but Oblivion was good.
Was it Battlefield, the one with Travolta? That was really bad.
That movie was all Scientology because that was written by what's his name?
Yeah. The head guy.
Yeah, the Moses of the religion. I can't think of his name. It's like some initials or something. Whatever. Anyways, yeah, that guy wrote it, and everybody knows John Travolta's super into Scientology.
Yeah.
So that was like his passion project, was to get that movie done, and to watch it is, if you haven't seen Battlefield Earth, do yourself a favor and watch it, because it is like Superman 4, so bad it's good. It's not so bad it's good to the level of like The Room, where they're going to make another movie about how bad that is, and that one's going to get nominated for Academy Awards. Like it's not.
Sharknado.
Yeah,
It's not Sharknado bad.
No. Well,
obviously not, because they made
Sharknado's
so
aware.
bad
It's self-aware. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Sharknado's not supposed to be.
Like when in the movie Hot Rod, where he tried to make a serious movie about stunts and everyone was laughing.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't realize he made like a comedy instead.
Yes. Well, that was a random reference, and I can't believe I got it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yes, it's the same thing. So, but yeah, Battlefield Earth. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with anything with film or anything, but like a Dutch angle. So a Dutch angle's, you've got your thing here, and a Dutch angle's when you film like that, or any other weird angle. And you use those for like dramatic things, or to juxtapose something crazy happening with something or whatever. It's supposed to be like an artistic thing. But it's the whole movie. Like more than half. At least 60% of the shots in that movie are Dutch angles. And it's just like, you don't understand what that's for. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to say that I'm, Spielberg or anything. But
like Star Trek and the soul, like the lens flare.
Yes, but that's J.J. Abrams. That's not just Star Trek. That's all J.J. Abrams stuff.
That's what I meant to.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Michael Bay, but he was Transformers. That's not the
no,
same
he's
one.
boom booms.
Yeah,
he's
he blows up
explosions.
everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which,
no.
if you would have told like 10-year-old me that I would not like somebody because they just made everything explode all the time, I would have punched you.
Dude, that's what made 21 Jump Street so good for a reboot-ish. Because we were talking about reboots, too.
Yeah.
Like, they rebooted that franchise. And then...
Killed it.
You said, like, another twist, though, like, where you weren't expecting it. You weren't expecting Johnny Depp to be at the end, either.
No, yeah, just that little random
He was
cameo.
in there the whole time. He looks like Barry Pepper, though.
Yeah.
That was what was weird. I
Battlefield
thought it
Earth.
was Barry Pepper.
Battlefield Earth.
It's so... Freaking, they twisted there, but then like when he's on the highway, that scene where they're blowing up stuff, I was like, oh, thought for sure it would have blown. It was like the truck of chickens.
Yes. And then it explodes.
Yeah.
That,
It's like the random movie satire of just like, no, this doesn't really happen in real life. I mean, you could probably shoot someone's gas tank and it won't explode. Which is true.
I mean, that was really good. I think a reboot that a lot of people hated on, that I liked, and I know my wife loved, was the Baywatch movie. I thought that the TV show was horrible. I never watched it.
Yeah.
I
I like me some Zac Efron. He's like my guilty pleasure actor. I like to watch him and stuff. I like 17 Again.
What's that? I don't know what that is.
It's pretty much like Freaky Friday or whatever else, but with...
Isn't he like 17? Like, he's like 20.
Well,
He's 17 again. He's like going back 2 years. That'd be like me, 34 again.
It can't... It was like his transition period from like...
Oh, High School Musical to legitimacy.
In a way, because Matthew Perry was his like dad.
The Friends guy?
Yeah. And then They Switch, which is like that, was it Freaky Friday type thing. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like that, just with guys. Yoo-hoo! And then, what else was there? There's, I was saying Zac Efron's like my, sorry, I got distracted by my 4-year-old is coming in here. Go away! We're doing a show. Go away. No? Okay. We got a live studio audience here.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Joe Rogan doing a podcast and this like kid just pop up?
That'd be pretty rough.
Hey, Dad, I know you're on this side and he's on this side.
Yeah, is that weird?
Yeah.
Okay. You gonna go now?
What do you mean by guilty pleasure? Like, you like to watch him in movies, or you got like a man
Well,
crush
like
on him?
no. I like his movies. Like
Okay.
I legit like his movies. I don't feel they're terrible. They're not like, I'm not gonna like go and change the world afterwards, but I feel thoroughly entertained. Granted, like Neighbors, so it's also Seth Rogen.
Yeah,
Neighbors
that was good.
2, which was kind of a stretch, but still pretty good.
I like Neighbors a lot. That was
Neighbors
good.
was good. See, like you, it's like one of those ones you don't think you. I don't know.
But
I
see,
feel like people don't like Zac Efron. I feel like he gets.
I don't have. I'm indifferent towards him. But see, like when you said Neighbors, I think of that as a Seth Rogen movie.
Right.
Baywatch, I think of that as a rock movie. You know what I mean? Like I guess Zac Efron's there, but I didn't think about him being
Yeah,
there.
go take it in there. Right.
I thought you were talking about Man Crush. Guilty pleasure.
I mean, I would have a man crush on him.
No, Man Crush.
He fallen.
All right. There's that. 100% Brad Pitt in Troy. What? How could you argue with that? It's Brad Pitt in Troy. Like,
Because then I can pull the inverse of Gerard Butler in 300.
solid choice. Solid choice. I'll even take it as 1A and 1B. It's right. Yeah. No. Yeah. You're absolutely. Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Or the was it Caviezel or whatever his name is, the one that plays Superman.
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, in his movie that he did. God dang it! Which one was it?
Superman.
No, it was he did it before Superman. It was the one that he did before there. It was like a Greek mythology-ish thing. Was it?
Oh, I didn't know that he existed before the Superman movie.
That's what I'm saying. Dang it. This is why we need another person to do our like looking up of stuff while we talk about stuff like there.
Yeah, I'm sure we're popular enough to hire on some help.
Henry and
I got a situation outside.
you have a situation outside?
Yeah.
What's the situation?
A part of my go bike fell off. That bottom one, that her purple thing got off.
Immortals.
Yeah, just one of the models, and it fell off for real.
Thank you.
And it broke. And I was trying to get on by myself. and I need help. In my mind,
King
I was trying to
Hyperion, who is rampaging
I
across
don't
screens to obtain a weapon that can destroy humanity.
get-
Why does-
Bye-bye.
You've never seen this?
I've never even heard of that.
It's good, man. Stephen Dorff is in there. Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke, huh?
Yeah. We're pulling out all the big stops here.
John Hurt.
You okay? She just said, ow. She walked into the hamper. I'm not laughing at you. I'm sorry. She walked in the hamper. She's like, oh.
She's pulling weeds with me out there.
Yeah.
Do you know where big black bags are?
This should be out there.
Yeah, that doesn't help me. I know they should be. Hence why I'm asking you.
I don't know. This is not very professional. I'm trying to do a show, woman.
I try to keep outside as long as possible.
You failed. You had one job. Just kidding. That's how I get freaking part of the Me Too movement when I cancel my show.
I have not. I have not seen Henry Cavill in anything that was not Superman.
Or did you see the new Mission Impossible?
No.
Oh,
I was just talking. I was just gushing over Tom Cruise too. And
That's why I thought you saw it.
no, I did not see the new Tom Cruise Mission Impossible.
It's weird how that is on like the 7th. That's the 7th one, right? Or 6th?
I don't know, but like to me, part 4 was when they became watchable. 1 was pretty good. It was a little over the top, but that's fine.
But when was like the setting the premise of the whole thing and getting the older crowd or whatever else? It was very on point with the show /
And it was, yeah, and that was early on in the
Yeah.
let's take TV shows from back in the day and turn them into movies. They didn't do that for a while.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so that was okay. The second one is, man.
1996. So that's when the first one came out.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, just to put a little context on there, like he's
We're getting old, man.
so Rogue Nation was in 2015, and then what was it? Ghosts, Rogue, or freaking I forget what it was.
We'll just go to that one and then scroll down to the... Isn't there one this is...
Ghost Protocol or Rogue Nation?
Yeah, Ghost Protocol. Isn't there
Ghost
one?
Protocol was 11.
Like, scroll down, isn't there one? Like, I know on the app there's like a follows or followed.
Did you know? Yeah, I don't see it.
I've never actually been on the website. I've only been on IMDb on my phone.
So Ghost Protocol was in 2000. That was the one in 2011.
Is that was the fourth one?
I want to say it was.
Yeah, where he's on the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah.
Where he's legitimately on that building. Yeah, those. Well, the second one. Have you ever seen the second one, or do you remember the second one? So it was Tom Cruise at his most
Here we go.
egotistical.
Here we go.
Okay.
So Mission Impossible 1, 1996. Mission Impossible 2, 4 years later. And that one had the freaking Limp Bizkit song.
Hold on. It was directed by John Woo. Now, I don't know if you know much about John Woo
Yeah.
either. Okay, so John Woo, ego here.
It's
Yeah.
me.
Tom Cruise, ego here. And it was just the two of them. Like, there's a scene in there. So, you know, John Woo's thing is the doves.
Yeah.
The scene with him, with the doves, and it was just so... Autofellatio is the only word that I can really come up with. Don't Google it at work. That's the only thing I can come up with. It was rough.
Yeah, he did Wind Talkers, which was Nick Cage.
Of course it was.
So the reason why he got probably that Mission Impossible gig was because of Face Off.
And Face
Face
Off
Off was
was
amazing.
way over the top too.
But it was
great.
good.
But it was great. Yeah, Nick Cage, John Travolta, yes, fantastic.
Broken Arrow.
I like Broken Arrow a lot.
Hard Boiled. I don't really remember that. I've heard the name. Killer, Better Tomorrow 2. I think then some of these were like in Japan and stuff like that. So he's definitely not a rookie.
Oh no, John Woo's definitely a legitimate director. His whole thing is the doves and like how over the top his stuff is. And like when I say over the top, it's a different type of over the top than Michael Bay, but certainly over the top
Yeah.
like Michael Bay. And the second one was just so ridiculous. The third one, I stopped watching when they were on motorcycles spinning around having a fist fight like on the highway. I was like, no, I can't do this one either.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember how I started trying to watch the fourth one. But I watched it and I was like, wait a minute, this is pretty good.
Well, because I thought this one brought in Simon Pegg.
Yeah.
And that was another thing, Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner came
And
in on
Jeremy
that one
Renner
too.
came in on that one. And that was what kind of, I think, kind of reboot the series for sure.
Well, he got a big piece of it too. Like Tom
Yeah.
Cruise, like he owns some of it now, or he's producing some of it, or something like that. So he's got more control over it, which you would think would make it worse. But
And then you have, actually, is it kind of like a head coach scenario? Like you want the same director to doing it? That's why I think the Mad Max movie was good for a remake. Or it wasn't really a remake, or it was like a sequel-ish or something like that. So the reason why that one, I think, was solid enough because you had the same director who did the first one.
so, to me, the first one's okay.
Granted, it's
Um,
not like,
The Road Warrior, which is the second one,
yeah.
it's just great to me. All right, and like here's a confession. The newest Mad Max movie, it was good. It was good, but it wasn't like Oscar worthy. Like that movie was going up for movie of the year, man. It's just it's a big chase scene.
It pretty much was.
That's it. It was good for what it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the best Mad Max movie.
No.
The best Mad Max movie is by far, hands down, without a doubt, for me, Mad Max. Or I'm sorry, not Mad Max. I just Road Warrior. Road Warrior Part 2.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I mean, they've got great editing effects. Like they throw a boomerang, and in order to catch it, they just played the exact same clip in reverse. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
The little wild kid.
Yeah.
That's hilarious that they just did that in a movie, like a full-on Hollywood movie. If we made a movie, that would be excusable. But that's a full-on movie, and they just played a clip backwards to catch a boomerang.
So you had to do back then, man. Like, there was no CGI with some of that stuff.
There was no CGI in Star Wars either, man.
Oh, well, some. True.
There didn't used to be
Not
CGI
used
in
to.
Star Wars.
Then there was Jar Jar Binks.
No, before Jar Jar Binks, they
I
ruined it
know.
with CGI. They're like, hey, you know what would make Jedi better?
What? I heard somebody say this the other day. They're like, why would we allow someone to like redo or retouch something that was already there? Like they should be like standalone stuff because it's like a work of art essentially. If movie is art, shouldn't it be left alone? But then you have the George Lucas who goes in and says, no, I need to redo
Well,
everything.
but George Lucas, so
They make it better.
it's like, and I don't technically care for the updates that they made in part 3 especially, or part 6 or whatever. Jedi. I don't care for the updates of that. The first one was fine.
Yeah.
They made the explosion cooler on there. Minus the whole Han shooting first versus Greedo and all that. Let's just not have that conversation. But like, when they were showing like the pilots and everything like that flying right outside of the, of Yavin 4 right before, and they were all checking in. That was good. That was perfect. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So the way that George Lucas set his whole thing up is he said that basically he painted a painting, and he really wanted to use a color, but the color was impossible to get. And then the color was invented 20 years later, and he finally got to go on and put the last few strokes on.
So what if Bob Ross did his painting and then came back 20 years later and then added some more color to it?
Then Zombies confirmed. That's fine. I mean, I get it, and it's, yeah, you can't really just, but it's their thing. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what they want to do with it, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't
Yeah.
make Return of the Jedi for me. I like to think he did. But,
Well, that's what they were saying. Like the people, like when they make these movies, they're not for the person. It's like, well, how then? Who's it for? Like they're saying, like it's for the people, the audience, and stuff like that. Well, if the audience wants a more immersive experience, isn't it okay?
yes,
Like,
I know, man.
To the credit of the George Lucas stuff, I enjoyed some of the adding of some of those scenes. It made the universe feel bigger.
Which
Which is
scenes?
what it should be. Just like with like the X-wings, like how it was instead of just the one,
Yeah.
now you have 15 of
Yeah,
them.
totally cool with that. That was in the original. That was in New Hope.
Little stuff like that. So it's like the scenes were
Totally
already
okay
kind of
with
there,
that.
and they're just adding.
A couple
to
of the
it.
scenes in Empire were
Yeah.
good. When they added a little bit more of the cave monster thing,
Yeah,
that was okay.
and it's not like they're adding like a whole new musical scene or something like that, and then.
They did that, man. They did that, and then
No,
they put
but
a
it's-
beak inside of the pit. What is that pit called?
Yeah,
They put a beak in there. Why is there a beak?
Yeah.
It's just a hole. It doesn't have a beak.
It was scary enough. It's just a toothless hole, man.
And it had little teeth, the little foam spikes, and
I
you could
know.
tell they were foamed by that. Yeah, they really, really killed Jedi. And then they changed. What's that song called? Nub Nub? Nub Jub? Jub Nub? the final song that the
This-
Ewoks sing
Yeah.
at the end. And that was like my favorite part as a kid. So that movie came out, to give anybody watching, listening some context. That movie came out the same year I was born. So by the time they also didn't release those movies on video like they release movies now.
Yeah.
E.T. was the same way. E.T. came out the year before I was born. They didn't just release movies, 6 months after they were in the theaters or so long. There was this whole big thing, and also we were a Betamax family, which Google that. That was terrible. Till the 90s. 91 was the first year we got VHS.
Yeah.
But you couldn't just go buy the movie or rent the movie. So we had a satellite dish, and not
Kids
satellite
these
dish,
days
a
are
satellite
so
dish,
spoiled.
8 foot.
Like even freaking Netflix, you can skip intros of like the
Yeah,
freaking
yeah.
shows.
There was none of that stuff.
And it's such utter bullshit. Saw a tweet the other day. It's like no one's gonna know the thrill of having to run to the kitchen to go get the popcorn real quick before the commercial comes back from the show, or
The opening theme song, man.
or getting pissed because you can't watch something because it didn't get rewound, so now you have to wait another 2 minutes.
Mm,
Plus, you don't want to start it,
mm.
and then you have like another 10 minutes of freaking previews to fast forward to. Well, it takes about 3 minutes to fast forward through it, but
Well, my parents had this whole thing with rewinding that it's going to break.
yeah.
The
Should we show a VHS so kids can know? Because I actually have one right here of a very hit film, Jurassic Park. This is a VHS, guys. There you go. There you go. It's not a porn. Sometimes that would happen.
not a snuff movie.
Look, you can't even see anything on it, but that's it right there.
Yeah, no, my wife, who's 7 years younger than I am, she found a Beetlejuice Betamax tape at my mom's house, and she was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
I was like, "That's a Betamax," and she's like, "It's tiny, it's too small," and I'm like, "No, it's a different kind of tape." There was more than one kind of tape. Like, yeah, there was. But anyways, yeah, so Star Wars didn't come out on video forever. We recorded it off of the satellite. That was the only way that you could watch it. And I couldn't read because, 3, 4 years old. So there was like an X drawn on the front of the little spine of the VHS copy. And I knew that the one with the X on it was Return of the Jedi. So I could play that movie over and over again. I didn't need parents' help or anything. So I watched that movie all the time. And my favorite part was the Ewoks. The Ewoks weren't looked down upon then like they are now. They
I
made
know. I don't
two
know why they got
Ewok movies.
such a bad rap.
They made 2 Ewok movies. One of them with Wilford Brimley, who's
I
the
think-
diabetes guy for younger people.
I think they got a bad rap because of that stupid Star Wars Christmas special that's still floating around that you can still kind of
That's epic. That's greatness.
The Ewok movie was interesting in itself.
It was all right.
But why are there no Ewoks in any of the new movies? Any of them. I think someone needs to be like
They thought Jar Jar Binks was a
no.
good idea, but Ewoks
We-
was a bad idea.
Right. We need to get Sarah McLachlan on the phone. We need her to do the Arms of Angel song, and we need it for like $30 a month. You two can support an Ewok to come in the next
And
episode.
in the background, play that scene. You remember that Ewok dies, and he like walks over there, and he's all like, he has no idea why, what's going on. Like these aliens just came out of space. We were just living in these tree houses, and these aliens came down with these robots, and they're all shooting us. What happened?
The Ewoks didn't do shit, man. Freaking, that's if anyone wants to call about like the going green. Those guys are living on the land, doing their own business. And they're little people too, so it wasn't like they were taking that much. Their carbon footprint couldn't have been huge
No,
on
nothing.
that big green lush planet.
No, they were good. They were good. And the Empire, I mean, they didn't really do anything to the Ewoks. You know what I mean? Like, other than the one spot where they had the shield generator, really what were they doing until Luke and them showed up?
They had the audacity to add freaking E.T. in the Senate.
They did that.
And not put a freaking Ewok in there.
I mean,
Just saying.
could you just picture this, all right?
All right.
An Ewok election cycle. All right, so like when they elect that senator to go represent the planet of Endor, well, I'm sorry, not planet, forest moon of Endor. They've got to sit there, jump, up, jump, and they got to sit there and they all got to have this. They got to talk it out, and then there's going to be two Ewoks sitting over here
C-3PO,
debating.
C-3PO would
And he's
just
gonna
translate it all.
He's gonna translate the.
C-3PO will fix it all.
Oh man,
He's the real savior of it all. Keeps everyone in balance.
he was God,
He was.
the golden.
They're going to eat you. It's like, oh dear.
We gotta wrap this up.
All right. So, if you'd like to donate to the Ewoks, go ahead and hit the PayPal link. We'll make sure it gets directly to them.
Especially to that one's family that got zapped.
Support the Ewoks, guys. Follow the stream. We'll put this out on YouTube. Follow on there. I have a buddy of mine who might try and get this on the syndication for us on podcasts, where you'll be able to listen to this wherever you listen to your podcasting, whether it be Google or iTunes, or the Apple Podcast. I don't know. I'm speaking out of my butt right now, so it's not there yet. So don't go looking for it. But yeah, follow me on Twitter, and we'll get this squared away. And I appreciate you guys coming in and watching the show. If you guys have any questions or topics you want us to talk about, feel free to put in the chat for next time, or tweet at me and we'll cover it. And hopefully we'll do this again next week. Thanks, Dennis, for coming by, and thank you guys for watching. Have a good night.
One last thing.
Yeah.
There's an Easter egg on this shirt. See, it says Green Bay sucks. Right there on the license plate. Just for a random dig.
So mad, dude. Freaking the Niners. Whatever. Have a good night, everybody.